Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive today.
Yeah. We are ready.
We are going to be talking about a really cool figure from Indian history.
Absolutely.
Maharana Pratap,
Yeah.
a line of Mewar, as
Yeah.
you know. And
We got a lot of sources here.
we do. We've got a lot of really cool sources about his life, and we're going to
I'm really excited about these.
try to go beyond the kind of the surface level and figure out what made this guy tick.
Yeah. Well, and this is a guy who obviously faced incredible pressure
Yeah.
from a very powerful empire that was expanding rapidly.
Right.
So we're gonna look at, just what it was that drove him, what kind of
Yeah.
a person he was.
So to give everybody a little bit of background,
Yeah.
Maharana Pratap was born in 1540.
Okay.
In the Kumbhalgarh fort,
A formidable fort.
and
Yeah.
his father was Maharana Uday Singh II.
Okay.
And even from his earliest days, the Mughal Empire was kind of there.
It was a presence.
Threat.
A huge presence, a huge threat. Yeah.
And one of the things that's really cool is that from these early accounts of his life, even as a young boy, he was different.
Yeah. He wasn't
interested in the leisurely pursuits of other princes.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, he was constantly training, and it's almost like he knew what was coming,
Yeah.
He was preparing himself for this role.
An instinctive understanding of the challenges that lay ahead.
Yeah.
And really preparing himself for that role of a defender at a very young age.
And so let's talk a little bit about his character.
Yeah, let's dig into that.
Because that's really what I find so fascinating about him.
Okay.
Is this unwavering commitment that he had to his honor.
Okay.
Even when it meant turning his back on, luxury and security.
Yeah.
And that wasn't just a, kind of a philosophical thing. It had very real-world consequences.
Real-world consequence. Yeah. I mean, think about the offers that were made to him by Akbar.
Oh, yeah.
The Mughal emperor was at the height of his power, and he was
extending these opportunities to Pratap.
Yeah.
You could have a life of, ease and influence and wealth.
Right.
If you simply acknowledge
Our authority.
Mongol authority.
Yeah.
And he refused.
Sounds right.
Time and time again, he said no.
Yeah.
And that's not just political calculation. That really speaks to this deeply ingrained code of Rajput honor.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And the idea of the sovereignty of Mewar.
Yeah. I think for him, surrender wasn't just like a political defeat. It was like a personal and cultural one as well.
Yeah, it was an existential threat to his whole world.
It's really amazing.
It's incredible.
And that had consequences. Like we were talking about, it wasn't just words on a page. He and his family lived in exile.
Yeah.
They were in forests. They were, facing deprivation.
Real hardship.
Yeah.
Scarcity of food.
Yeah.
The constant threat of danger.
Absolutely.
And yet his resolve never wavered.
Never wavered.
This is a man who was willing to sacrifice everything for his principles.
Right.
And that tells us something.
Yeah, it really does.
About his connection to his land, to his people.
Yeah.
And to the idea of their dignity.
It's amazing. And then we come to this pivotal moment in his life, the Battle of Haldighati.
Okay.
In 1576.
Yeah, this is where legend was really forged.
It is.
To understand the significance of this event, you have to appreciate just the sheer difference in the size of the forces involved.
Well, yeah, how many on each side?
Roughly 20,000 Rajput warriors.
Okay.
Facing a Mughal army that was probably 4 times that size, at least.
Wow. That's incredible.
I mean, this was a massive undertaking for Pratap. The logistical and strategic challenges were immense.
Oh, absolutely.
To even consider taking them on.
And he was right there in the thick of it, leading the charge.
Yeah, he wasn't
against these overwhelming odds.
He wasn't some distant figure, directing things from afar.
No.
He was right there in the thick of it.
And even
leading his men.
Engaging directly with Man Singh.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mughal commander. I mean, this was...
What an incredible act of bravery.
Yeah. This was an incredible display of personal courage and leadership.
Yeah.
It must have been incredibly inspiring for his troops to see their leader willing to face the same dangers they were facing.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's...
And I think it speaks to totally different kind of leadership.
Yeah, it really does.
Like we were saying, than just being this kind of distant...
Sitting back, giving orders. This is somebody who...
It really shows a sense of...
share the risks.
Responsibility,
with his men.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, of course, we can't talk about Haldighati without mentioning...
We can't.
Chetak, his horse.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
I mean, the accounts of Chetak leaping across an elephant...
After being wounded.
Despite being grievously wounded.
Yeah.
And then ultimately giving his life to save Pratap.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the stuff of legend.
It really is, yeah.
It's become so deeply ingrained in the popular narrative.
It's such a powerful symbol of loyalty and
Absolutely.
sacrifice.
It mirrors Pratap's own commitment to his cause.
It really does.
This image of Chetak carrying his master to safety.
Oh, yeah.
And then collapsing.
So powerful.
I mean, it's just an incredibly evocative image that has resonated through history.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So while the Mughals might have claimed victory at Haldighati on paper, Pratap himself never surrendered.
No.
He retreated and actually continued his resistance through what we would now call guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, hit-and-run tactics, utilizing the terrain of Mewar to his advantage, avoiding those large-scale confrontations that he couldn't win.
Right, and just continued to harass the Mughals.
Yeah, she was a persistent thorn in their side.
Yeah, and what I think is also really interesting is that he wasn't just this kind of distant, leader living in luxury while his people were suffering the consequences of all this conflict.
He was right there with them. I mean, the account...
He lived among them.
Talk about him living among his people, sharing their hardships.
Yeah, there's that famous story of his family subsisting on bread made from grass. I mean, that's incredible.
That's a powerful image.
It really is.
That shows just how connected he was to the struggles of his people.
Yeah, and I think that's something that continues to make him so, admired.
Absolutely.
He was there with them.
He was one of them.
Yeah.
And that's something that people really remember.
Yeah, and so it wasn't just about, military resistance.
No.
The sources really make it clear that he had this much broader vision for Mewar.
Okay.
He was fighting for their, independence, their self-respect, the well-being of his people.
Yeah, he wasn't just trying to hold on to territory.
No.
He was trying to create a better future.
Right. And his core belief was that leadership is service.
That's powerful.
Right. And that wasn't just, something he said. He actually, implemented programs to support farmers and villagers.
Yeah, practical efforts.
To make sure they had access to food and security, even during wartime.
Yeah, even during wartime.
He was thinking long-term about, the sustainability of his kingdom.
He understood that military strength was only one part of the equation.
Right.
He needed to ensure that his people were thriving.
Absolutely.
Not just surviving.
Yeah.
But thriving.
Wow.
And so he focused on things like agriculture and trade.
Right.
He was trying to stimulate the economy, make sure that there was a future for his people.
Long-term thinking.
Yeah.
And what I also think is so cool is that he was able to unite all these different Rajput clans under one banner.
That was a massive achievement.
It is.
I mean, these were factions that were historically independent, often at odds with each other.
Yeah.
And he managed to bring them together against a common threat.
It's incredible.
I mean, that speaks to his diplomatic skills.
Absolutely.
His charisma.
Yeah.
And his ability to inspire people.
Yeah, I think the clarity of the threat really helped.
Yeah.
And his own unwavering commitment was probably pretty inspiring.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what's also interesting is his commitment to environmental conservation.
Oh, yeah.
In the Aravalli ranges.
This is not something you typically associate with a warrior king.
Not really, no.
But he understood the importance of these mountains,
Yeah.
not just as a strategic,
Yeah, as a natural resource.
defensive barrier,
Right.
but also as a source of livelihood for his people.
Right. He saw the big picture.
Yeah, he was thinking about the long-term health of his kingdom.
Amazing. So even though there was all this conflict and all these challenges, he continued to resist the Mughals right up until his death in 1597.
Yeah, he never gave up.
Unbroken.
His spirit of resistance remained unbroken.
Yeah.
And that had a real impact.
Did it?
I mean, even Akbar himself began to tire of this constant conflict in Mewar. It was draining his resources, and it was preventing him from consolidating his control over the region.
Wow. So Maharana Pratap was really successful.
Yeah, he was a thorn in the side of the Mughal Empire for decades.
It's amazing.
And his legacy endures to this day.
It really does. And why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's because of his integrity, his resilience, his unwavering dedication to his honor and his people.
Yeah.
He embodies the idea of standing up for what's right.
Right.
No matter the cost.
Yeah.
No matter how powerful the opposition.
Yeah.
He's an inspiration.
He really is. And so I guess the message here for you, the listener, is that true greatness isn't about power or possessions. It's about the courage, to stand by your principles, no matter how hard things get.
No matter how tempting the compromises might be.
Exactly.
Maharana Pratap's story is a reminder that principled leadership and unwavering commitment to your values can have a lasting impact far beyond your own lifetime.
So there you have it, folks. The story of the Lion of Mewar.
A remarkable man.
Yeah, a truly remarkable man.
An inspiring figure.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Into his legacy.
Exploring his life with you.
And as you go about your day, I want you to think about which aspect of Maharana Pratap's incredible story resonates most deeply with you.
Yeah?
Is it his defiant spirit? His connection to his people? His commitment to his values?
How might those qualities inspire you in your own life?
Yeah, how can we all be a little bit more like Maharana Pratap?
That's a great question.
Well, until next time.
Take care.
Take care.